Hey guys, Jeff Moyer here. I'm out at Lake Point, where PBR is hosting the Georgia Top 100, which is one of the best high school events in the state of Georgia, if not the best high school event, where individual players come from all over the state. We got kids from South Georgia, East Georgia, from all over the state of Georgia. And from Monday through Wednesday of this week, there will be 12 teams of roughly 20 to 25 players coming out, going through a pro style workout, and then following it up playing a game in the afternoon. I wanted to check in with you guys and give you my assessment on some things that I've seen over the last 2 days and kind of how this event plays out. The first thing that the kids do when they get here is they run the 60 times. One thing that I've seen some 60 times over 8, a lot of 60 times 7.5, 7.6, 7.7. When you guys go to these events, don't feel pressured to run the 60 because you're showcasing your best skills. And if that's not a skill that you're going to showcase well, I would suggest not running it because it just is something that the coaches can count against you. A kid that runs a bad 60, you may hit the ball a mile, but that speed is always going to play a factor into it. After the 60, these guys go into BP. A few things I've seen during BP, some guys get in there with wood bats and you get 2 rounds of 6 swinging the wood bat. Well, I was turning around to a college coach and I said, why are we swinging a wood bat here? And he goes, you took the words right out of my mouth. So guys, when you go to these events, it's a high school event. You're in front of college coaches. There are a few pro scouts here, but let's be real, a lot of these guys aren't going to be going to play pro ball after high school. So swing the metal bat because you can hit the ball a lot farther and you can look a lot better swinging the metal bat than you can a wood bat in these type of events. After BP, these guys get their arms loose and they go into the defensive segment of it. Some things that I've seen during the guys getting loose is how they play catch. Guys are being tested on their arm strength right now, and as I watch them play catch, they're getting loose to 90 to 120 feet, and then they're going to expect to go out and throw as hard as they can throw. So when you come to these events, play long toss to get your arm loose, make sure you're good and loose, that way you can let that ball go. Some things I've seen, those guys that are getting loose 90 to 120, they let the ball go, and then they come in and their arm's hanging a little bit. Well, it's because you didn't get loose. Make sure you take the time to fully get loose. Go through your long toss regimen so your arm is good and loose. After they get their arms loose, the outfielders will throw from right field to third base, measuring velocities there, and then the catchers will throw down to second. A few things I've seen with catchers that, a lot of us coaches look for is, are they in the right spot when they're starting their pop times? A lot of kids will start to cheat towards home plate, which is not really accurate of, where you're going to stand into a game. So get the best possible read. I know you're trying to make yourself look good, but at the same time, you want to look as realistic as possible and know that coaches aren't measuring catchers solely based on their pop times. After the pop times, the infielders go, and some things I've seen with infielders with that radar gun behind them is they'll field that ground ball, they'll take 2 or 3 shuffles, and then they'll just absolutely let that thing rip. Well, 2 things happen. In the game, you don't field the ball and take 3 steps and then throw it. And then after that, once they've tried to throw the heck out of that ball, I've seen a lot of balls go over the first baseman's head, a few in the dugout, a few have hit the net above the dugout, just because they're worried solely on their arm speed and their arm velocity across the diamond. So when you think of these things, coaches don't care how hard you throw it across the infield. They want to see your footwork. They want to see you get the ball out of your glove, into your throwing hand, and in the air to first base as fast as possible. So at these events, while they're measuring arm strength, maybe let one of them go, but the other 3 or 4 that you're going to get them out of your glove and over to first base as quick as possible. After the defensive segment of this event, they go into an inter squad. And a few things I've seen during inter squad that, kind of turned me off to kids is, kids that aren't hustling on and off the field. It's easy to get lost in the mix. Coaches don't know your name, and we solely know you by the number on the back of your jersey. So, if I see a kid moseying off the field, that's a kid that I know doesn't think someone's watching him at all times. The other thing I've seen a few times is a kid take a bad swing and roll over. Yesterday, I was sitting behind home plate, and he was down the first base line, running through first base, and I heard the F word come out of his mouth from behind home plate. The parents around me start turning their heads, and fortunately, I was like, yeah, I heard that, and those are things that kind of go against you. You write that number down, bad emotions, that kind of stuff. So we're evaluating you on everything that you're doing throughout the day. So I just wanted to check in with you guys, tell you some things that I've seen, some things to think about when you go to events like this. You know, you can see on the field right now, there's 2 jersey colors. You got a red team and a white team, and everyone kind of looks the same. So you have to do your part to stand out. You know, one thing I've seen during BP is everyone's shagging in the outfield. Outfielders aren't trying to track balls. This is team 7 and 8 right now, and not one player has gone into the infield to take ground balls to try and stand out so coaches can see how he takes ground balls in BP. You know, so think about these things when you're at events like this, guys. I know it's hard to stand out. You know, wear your school's color under your shirt so you stick out. I've seen green sleeves under here, and you know, those players stand out, and we're going to naturally bring our eyes to those players. So do everything you can to stand out. A parent came up to me and asked, and she said, we had just started the inter-squad session, and she said, you know, you're a college coach, what are you looking for in this inter-squad session right now? Are you just looking at pitchers? And I thought that was a great question, and a lot of parents think that, you know, when the game starts, we're just looking at the pitchers. And the answer that I gave her, and the answer that a lot of college coaches would give, is we use the first session, the pro style workout, the 60s, the BP, the defensive segments, the outfield throwing, the infield throwing, to identify guys to look for in the game. So I've circled 5 or 6 names on each team during the pro style workout session, and those are guys that I want to look at to see if it translates onto the field when the game starts. And then obviously from there, we're always looking at the pitchers. So, you know, if you're going to a showcase or a workout and that has a game after it, know that you have to do something in the defensive segment or the pro style workout to stand out, because those coaches are looking to take what you did in the pro style workout to see if it can translate to the game. I've circled a few names, guys that have had great swings and it translates to the game. That's great. They've done a good job. They've found a way to stand out. I just want to check in with you guys, share these few things that I've noticed being back on the road for the first time in about a year. Just some things for you guys to think about that I think can help benefit you guys as you start to go to these events, as you get into high school and move up the high school ranks. If you guys have any other questions about things that happen at showcases, what we look for, what things turn us off to players, feel free to drop those in the comments below, and we will get those answered as quickly as possible. Thanks, guys.